Garry Kelly. Your music, your station. Your music, your station. Galway Bay FM.
There you go. That was a clip from the new movie that is out in cinemas at the moment called Hunger, and I'm delighted to be joined on air now by the writer of that feature, Enda Walsh. Enda, you're very welcome. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Hi Gary, how you doing?
Very good, thanks. It's been getting a huge reaction, and which is great, because usually when people hear the words Irish movie, they kind of, distance themselves away going to the silver screen to see such. But it's getting brilliant reviews, great reaction, not only from people within the industry that work in it, but also from the general public.
Yeah.
It must be a great feeling.
Well, I'm absolutely delighted. I mean, it's been very fortunate. I mean, it's tours. What happens with films before they come out in general release, a lot of the time, particularly sort of independent films, they tour festivals just to get a buzz going and all that type of thing, and to sell them, of course. And we've been very fortunate to win a few awards and all that type of thing. But I mean, my big thing was going, oh my God, how the hell is how's your punter going to react to it? Because it's a difficult film, I mean, the subject matter is difficult, but also it's presented in a way that isn't like your normal type of film. And yet, this was my thinking, initially, and yes, people are really, really connecting with it. I mean, big time, and so we're absolutely sort of chuffed.
My initial reaction to it as well was, oh my God, are we going back down the road again of the Troubles in Northern Ireland?
Yeah.
It always seems to be the same themes that have been repeating around films coming out of the Irish industry, excluding the last 5 years, but within the kind of 20 years beforehand. What made you actually go back down that road again?
To me, that was the reason to go at it. To be completely honest, Gary, because the films that I think that have been made in the past, a lot of the time, I always think that Irish storytelling has a sort of default setting, and a lot of that is sentimentality, and sometimes, we sort of romance things just a little bit sort of too much, and that can get in the way. And that was my reason to get sort of involved in the project, because when I talked to Steve McQueen, the director, both of us were the same sort of opinion that we actually just wanted to make something that's cold and factual, and really quite sort of feeling sort of quite detached, and to hold on to the emotion. And we want to really sort of concentrate on a very sort of dysfunctional sort of period of sort of histories, Irish and British histories, and really, so my initial response to it was, oh my God, I don't want to get involved in a film about the sort of the Troubles, or about the IRA, or la la la.
Yeah.
And actually, but then I thought, no, this is good because we want to do something new with it, and we want to sort of present it in a new way.
While I was eating my porridge this morning, I was actually thinking about the interview that I'd be having with you this evening.
Yeah.
And there was, you have the likes of Braveheart and Michael Collins, and after the movies come out, historians give off that it's not exactly like it was, and the director and writers give off saying, well, we're presenting a story for means of film, we're not doing a documentary.
Yeah.
But it is so essential about this movie that you have done that you haven't romanticized anything about it.
No.
You've made a feature film of it, but you've shown it just for the way it has been for both people.
I think that's right. I think, it was very, very important. I mean, for anyone who sees the film, that period, to do justice to the intricacies of what was going on there and the history of that period, you turn into sort of a 10-hour movie. And it's important that we sort of distill everything into that cell, into the pressures that, both the person in the cell and the person outside the cell, the prison warden, what the pressures that they were under. So when we joined the film, really, it's like the first half an hour is basically silent. And, we know that there's some narrative line through it that we're heading towards a possible riot, but really we're learning the rules of that environment and the incredible conditions that these men put themselves under, the dirty protest. And and this is what we really sort of wanted to concentrate on. Steve was always saying, God, if we can just concentrate on the detail of that, people will be fascinated by that and go, well, how do they do it? How do they get up every morning? How do they live in that cell? And all this type of thing. And that's what we wanted to take the pressures that all these men must have been sort of under. This was at a time when republicanism, you felt, was sort of coming to an end. So there was a lot of, or certainly it was in a bad way, there was a lot of pressure on these men. And they had their own fight going on. They wanted sort of 5 demands. And it was like the outside, the larger sort of dysfunction of Northern Ireland was just in this small space. And I think Steve, fair dues to him, just managed to do that. Managed to sort of paint a harrowing sort of hell in these small little cells in the corridors, and how these men lived. So yeah.
Yeah, I have to say it is beautifully directed. And I was looking back at some of the trailers that are up on YouTube today, just to kind of refresh myself again of the images of it. It's fair to mention as well, it did win the Karma d'Or at Cannes during the year. How do you feel, from someone who is probably better known to people in Galway as a playwright? I mean, you have been one of the key elements for Drew's success over the last few years, and we'll get onto that in a while. Yeah. But what was it like for you as a writer, seeing your finished script that you can't really get involved in anymore once it goes into production and a director takes over? Kind of standing back now as, we say, just a writer on your own. What do you think of your story, the way Steve McQueen, the director, has delivered it up on the screen?
I think it's exactly, we had an extraordinary sort of period where we interviewed a lot of men, both prisoners and prison wardens at the time, and governors. And really, we walked away, and I walked away from going, we really have to do justice to everything that they've experienced and everything that they've said to us. And I really feel as if, and you can rarely say this, because sometimes you present work and, it just falls short, but the combined effort of just like everyone, it's just exactly how we wanted it to be. And we were lucky enough that Film 4 and Blast Films really gave us such incredible support, and you rarely get that in film. A lot of the time you've got a producer riding on your back, but these guys were just going, listen, you've got a combined vision of the thing, and we trust you, and go at it and present it. And but I was very, very, very shocked when I saw it, to be honest. It's one thing seeing it on the page and then actually sort of seeing it on screen and going, oh my God, this guy has made an unbelievable film, and a really brave film.
I had an argument with someone after not an argument, but a discussion after I seen the film when it was premiered at the Cork Film Festival there a few weeks ago, and I said to them, the only problem I had with it, directing-wise, was I thought some of the shots were arrogant. Yeah. As a director, there's one particular one where you see they're in the Maze prison and the camera is down the bottom of the corridor. Yeah. And it's a static shot.
Oh, and everyone talks about that shot. It's like, this is a shot where basically the prison warden, at the end of the day, the prisoners, they throw their urine underneath the door, and it comes into the corridor, and a prison warden has to sort of disinfect it. And that shot for anyone that sees it is, I think it's a shot. I think it runs at about 4.5, 5 minutes. And when I saw it, I was going, what the hell is this about? But Gary, some people are absolutely loving that shot, right? It's, you're basically watching them do this chore. And Steve's idea, I was going, Steve, what's on with that sort of like shot, And he was going, I really feel as if, if we don't have something, if we don't have something to bridge this middle section, this dialogue that goes on for sort of 20 minutes, this conversation, and the final section, which is so, the pace of it is so completely different. We need something not only for an audience to sort of to readapt their sort of, close their ears off and begin to look at things with their eyes again, but we need to take down their sort of pulse. We need to take down their blood pressure, and this is a shot. This is the shot that will, Gary, this is what it's like working with an artist. Anyone else in the business would go, what the hell are you talking about? This is a stupid shot. This doesn't mean anything. But an artist would go, no, I'm really concerned about the blood pressure of the audience at this stage. And I really think we have to take down their heartbeat. And, which is an incredibly sort of brave thing to do. So when I was looking at it, I saw it in Cannes, and I was going, oh my God, I don't know whether that works. And then I saw it again, and I really, 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 really loved it. I could, not that he explained it to me, but I could actually sort of sense that that I was adjusting to a new phase of the film.
I will say, in fairness, if there's ever a workshop for upcoming directors as to what is one of the perfectly paced films out there.
Oh God, it's an amazing pace, isn't it?
It's delivered with absolute precision. It's paced so perfectly.
Yeah, the pace is